The first team we're going to look at is the Minnesota Rocker. And as we see right here, I'm going to go through and give my predictions of what's going to happen this split. And the first thing that you see there, I have them predicted to go 0-7 in this next split. But first and foremost, I think they need to be better all around. They need to win online. The last time they made a winners final, or last time they made a winners bracket, they ended up placing top 4th. So they just need to win. They have the 4th most difficult schedule, playing the likes Optic, New York Submariners, and Miami Heretics. And what this means is they've got to win the other ones. But unfortunately, even though I have them going 1-7, their most likely seeding is 11th, and going 1-6. And the likelihood of this is 41.66. But the only points that I need to make for them is get a win. Just get one win and build that momentum. And you got to try to make winner bracket. Their chance to go undefeated is less than 1%, but they're most likely right here, as I see, they have a 14% chance of going 0-4. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the AM. This morning, we are looking at Major 4 predictions. So we're going to go through every team and their possibilities of going undefeated, going winless, their most likely seeding going into this next major, and so much more. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Next team I want to bring attention to is going to be the 11th rank I have in my standings is the Carolina Ravens. And as you can see right here, I have them winning one match, and they are considered Lanimals, especially with Playster and Fellow. They have a pretty good online or pretty good placing whenever they're in the same room. This next online split, they have the 2nd most difficult schedule, and they play 3 of the top 4, Atlanta, Optic, and New York. But they also play the bottom 2 in standings. They have to get those wins. So their most likely seeding percentage-wise is 8th at 3-4. However, due to their difficult schedule, the way their momentum works, I have them winning one match and giving them the 11th seed right here, the Los Angeles Guerrillas. As you see, I also have them only winning one. And since their roster changed, they haven't even won on LAN. They do have the schedule of this next online split. They only play one of the top 4 teams, that being Atlanta, and they have beat Atlanta online this year, so that looks good for them. Their next 2 opponents are Miami Heretics and Seattle Surge. They're most likely last place at 1-6, and that's a 39% chance of that happening. But I do believe they're going to get their win versus the Vegas Legion, and that's going to put them at the 10 seed. And right after the Los Angeles Guerrillas, their hometown rivals, Los Angeles Thieves, come in at number 9th in this next online split. And so far on the year, they have, or in this split, in this one singular split, they have the 6th schedule. Their most difficult opponents, they are also playing 3: Atlanta, Toronto, New York. They're most likely getting, just based on percentages, is 6th place at 40. That is at 34% of that. And even though they're going 3-4 right here, I believe their last match, I think it's their last match, the match they're playing against Vegas, will determine if they make winners bracket or not, because they are definitely losing versus Atlanta, Toronto, New York. Definitely there is a chance that they win one of those, but I think they're going to ultimately lose to Legion, putting them in a loser's bracket. Now the first team that squeaks into the winners bracket, Seattle Surge. And the only thing that I've got to say about them so far is they've been meh. That's it, just meh. They have the 2nd easiest schedule, so meh might get them into winners bracket, as I have them predicted here. They're only playing 2 of the top 4, and the other 3rd most difficult opponent is Miami Heretics. So I think they're sneaking in 8th place, getting them a winners bracket start. And yeah, that's going to do it for next team. That is the Vegas Legion. Vegas, they have the third most difficult. They're playing Optic Texas, Toronto Ultra, and New York. So another 3 of the top 4 teams. And based on percentages, their most likely seeding is 9th place at 3 and 4. They have a 35% chance of that. However, due to their projected win map percentage, map win, like I just said, I have them placed at number 7 right here. Next team, which pretty big surprise, they are last in the standings. I have Boston Breach, and they only have 5 wins. I have them winning 3 in this next online split. As of the time of recording this, they have not won in 72 days. I think they're going to have a win coming up. They have the 5th easiest schedule, playing 2 of the top 4 teams. They're playing Atlanta, FaZe, and Optic Texas. Then their next most difficult is Seattle Surge. I believe they'll get wins versus Minnesota, the Gorillas, and Carolina, which, as you can see, are the bottom 3 teams that I have listed here in this next online split. That'll give them the 6th seed going in. And because of their map, their game win percentage, you see up here, it is better than the other 3 and 4 teams, putting them in at number 6. And at number 5, I have Miami Heretics. And they have finally gotten a win at Atlanta. So I'm not too worried about their chance. However, they have the most difficult schedule coming in this split. And they're playing the top 3 teams in the league. They're playing Atlanta, Toronto, and Optic. And they're most likely thing other than those 3 is 5th place, where I have them right here, 4 and 3. They have a 41% this happening. So even though with them playing 3 of the top, they have to win for the other bottom 4 team, or 4 of the bottom 8 teams. They have to win that. I think they will. That brings us into the top 4, which is next team, New York Subliners. I have New York Subliners winning 5 of their 7 matches, and they have the 6th schedule, so right smack dab in the middle. And they are playing Atlanta FaZe, Optic Texas, Seattle Surge, and so that's why I have them going 4th place right here, and they have about a 39% chance coming out at 4th place right here. But one thing I got to say about New York is they've got to be tired of coming in at number 4. So in order to get over that hump, they have to beat either Atlanta or Toronto, which is or Atlanta or Texas. So those are their only 2 losses that I have projected. If they come up and win versus that, win versus one of those, that's definitely going to give them at least a number 3, maybe even a number 2. But that does it for New York Subline. Oh, and finally we get to a team who's has more than a 1% going undefeated. New York has a 5% chance going undefeated. It just comes down to Atlanta and Texas. Brings us into next, Optic Texas. And they're coming off of their event win. They came in 1st place. They beat Toronto in the finals. So I just need them to put off that. And I believe they will, especially since they have the 3rd easiest schedule coming in to major. The 3 most difficult opponents are Ultra, New York Subliners, and Miami Heretic. So their most likely seeding is 2nd place. I have them ranked 3rd because I believe they will lose to Toronto Ultra, putting them at 6-1, and the chance of them coming out at 6-1 is 2%. So if Optic beats Toronto, then that'll give them a 7-0 record, and that'll cement Optic at least number 2, and put Toronto in their place at number 3. Top 3 teams going back and forth all year. Texas, if it's not for that match, they have a 23% chance of going undefeated. That brings us to the number 2. I have Toronto Ultra. And the only thing I got to say to them, get your revenge against Texas. They're coming off of that loss. They lost to them in the finals of this last tournament. So if they get the bench, I have them come in number 2 on the online split. And if they have the third easiest, sorry, they have the 5th hardest. I was looking at my notes for Texas. They have the 5th hardest schedule. Their most difficult opponents are Atlanta FaZe, Optic Texas, Miami Heretic. That's why I have them up here at 6-1. They have a 43% chance, and I believe that's going to give them the 2nd place seeding right here. The other match I want to circle on them is they are playing Atlanta coming up this online split. The last time that Toronto's beat Atlanta on is December 9th, 2022. That is 536 days ago. I don't know what else to say to that. They just got to beat FaZe online. Like, they beat them on LAN. They've done it 3 times this year so far. So yeah, Toronto has a 12% chance of going undefeated, and that's the last note I have on them. It brings us into the number 1 team I have predicted in this next online split, Atlanta FaZe. And I have them only drop in one map, and I believe that one map is Toronto. But out of their total losses on the year, they have 6 total losses. Only 2 of those have come from online. They have the 4th easiest schedule. They're only playing one of the top 4 teams going into this, that being Toronto. The next 2 are Miami and Los Angeles Thieves. So their most likely seeding is, and that's at 40% chance of that happening. But they only have a 26% chance of going undefeated based of any of the other teams. So I believe that's gonna do it. These are my online standings that I have predicted, and that brings us into the upcoming tournament. As we see right here, I have it all laid out, and I'll just go through, give a quick note on each team. As we see, thing for Boston that I'm going to point out, I do believe they will be unable to make a history. 2 years ago, New York, I believe they were last place, and they needed to play second to make the make Call of Duty champs. And I believe Boston's going to have the same chance to do it. I have them losing out both once again. Minnesota, I fear they're going to disappoint on LAN again. I believe they only in the major one, and that was because they upset New York Subliners that first winners round. Los Angeles Gorillas, since making the roster change and getting rid of Assault, they have not been able to win on LAN. I believe that's just going to happen again. They're not going to win LAN coming. Legion, unfortunately, I don't have a freaking top. They made it to top 5. I think it was last major, but unfortunately, I have them losing in top 7. Thieves have only got, they're only 1-5 on LAN. So I have them going out both again. Next, I want to talk about Miami Heretic. I believe they're going to get one more win on LAN. The first 2 majors of the season, they went 0-6, didn't even get 0-4, get a map win. As we see right here, I believe they're going to get one more LAN. Seattle Surge, I believe they're going to get top 5 once again. I believe top 5 is max that they're going to achieve. But that brings us to New York Subliners. Right here, I believe they are unable to break the top 3. Once again, they have cemented themselves as the, and unfortunately, top 3 teams are in a tier, and New York in a tier of their own, not in a good way, right at number 4, unable to break number 3. I totally skipped over Carolina Ravens. I believe that they have the most potential to pull off versus New York Subliners right down. It will be an upset potential. They get to wear a bottom 18, top 4, which hasn't happened since Major 1. Optic, I believe that they will lose to FaZe again, and that brings us to FaZe. They have a great chance at winning the major. FaZe just got to do FaZe things, and I believe if they in the winners finals, right above right here, then they will win this tournament. However, I have them losing to Ultra, and I have Toronto Ultra winning their second event of the year. And this happened last year, I believe. Major 1, New York 1, last major of the year, New York 1 again, champs, New York 1 again. And then in Vanguard, Los Angeles Thieves won the last major of the year and then won champs immediately. So I believe that whoever wins this tournament has a great chance at winning champ. And speaking of champs, my predictions go as predicted. Here, I have champ standings lined up right here. And regular season predictions right here. Nothing particularly surprising besides the Thieves versus Vegas Legion prediction right here. The only reason the way the tiebreakers work is that whoever has, I'm trying to think. Sorry, my brain's throwing a blank. It's probably the bucket hat. It's ugly, I know. But Thieves will be at the end of this major. I believe they'll be 5-2 versus Legion, maybe 4-3. So that with the Thieves having that 2 wins over Legion in the head-to-head matchup, that's going to put Thieves right into champs and knock Legion out. And as I mentioned earlier, the only other thing that I'd like to point out about these regular season predictions here, subliners, as you can tell, the top 3 teams will have 500 points on the, and then New York subliners, and then everybody else other than Boston Breach. Boston Breach also in the tier over there at the bottom. But that'll bring us right into champs. And if you don't mind, that's going to do it for this video. But for the call to action on this one, follow me on Twitter. I have the link down in the description. Twitter, X, whatever you call it. And I will be constantly updating each team's chance at making champs as the matches progress. But I believe that's going to do it for this video. By the way, sorry about the bucket hat. Go down in the comments. It looks weird. I just didn't want that. All right. See y'all in the next one.